Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. A great big shout out to my channel members for supporting my channel. Thank you. All right, so I'm actually filming this out of order. This is actually the fourth haul in my failed low buy. This was actually based on some stress. This was not on my radar, but I saw some books, or I saw a book on Wendy's channel. I'll link her channel below. And I couldn't find it on Amazon, and so I looked on Etsy. And this is the Cool Craft book. It's a Korean seller on Etsy. I'll link them below, not sponsored or affiliated. And while I was there, I decided, I'm going to get these others as well. So I'm going to do a mini flip through. Of course, I did not prep before this video. It's actually after work on Monday the 12th. And so I don't know who the artists are, but if you're interested in the artist's name, let me know. Again, I believe you can still find these books on that Etsy shop. And so you can just follow the link to the shop and you'll be able to see the colors. If you wanted the ISBN, let me know in the comment section below, and I certainly can provide that. So let me start with the smallest book and then work my way up. All right, this book is tiny. It's a little bigger than the size of my hand. It's about 6 3/4 by 8.5 from a journal size. I think it's even, well, okay, hold please. All right, so this is my coloring book journal, and this is an A5. So as you can see, it's about the same height top to bottom, but it's actually a little bit wider than an A5 is, just to give you kind of a reference. Now, I've mentioned this before. I will continue to mention this because it's an ongoing thing for me, but I don't look things up. And I'm pretty sure if I were to look this up on the website, it would be in centimeters, and that just basically a foreign language to me. So I didn't realize this book was so small. Not a problem. In fact, it's actually a good thing because it's not something that I would generally have chosen. And that's just because some of the artwork is not as detailed as I generally like things. So it is a Korean coloring book. I have not broken the spine. It's super cute, but it doesn't have those front pages of how to color. As I've mentioned before, I think that's more of a Japanese market type of thing. It is 4 seasons. This one is called Hello Forest Friends. Again, I don't have the artist's name on here, but as you can see, it's very sparse. And yet I've noticed lately that I kind of been gravitating towards that just because I can get my fix to color. I wouldn't even feel the need to kind of anchor this in space by way of making a floor or horizon line or a wall. I would just color the things here and then just call it a day, and it would still be a completed page for me. But it is a very, very cute coloring book. The paper is very thick and very smooth. I have not colored in here yet. It does have the line on of like a perforation, but it is not a perforated book. I do like that it has the colored version on the side you can use as a guide, or you can just go your own way. But because it's just the colored version on the side, it can also be considered a single-sided book. Considering the thickness of the paper, you would probably still want to put a blotter sheet if you're using alcohol markers. I don't know how paint would work on this, but I don't know that you'd actually need it with alcohol markers. But of course, anything you use alcohol markers, it's always a good idea to use a blotter sheet. But I think the images are just so cute. So again, I don't mind that it's a small book, and with the kind of coloring that I've been enjoying, having something that isn't as detailed is also helpful for me, because if I'm looking for something I just want to do a quick-ish kind of color, something this size is definitely something I could gravitate towards. And I don't think there's too many of these horizontal pages. Yeah, this is the cover, which is really cute. And then we're going into summer. And I love the little animals. I don't generally gravitate towards books where the animals act like people, but I saw, I think, some screenshots on the website, and I just thought, oh, this is adorable. And again, if I'm in the mood to color, but I'm not in the mood to color a lot, this is the perfect kind of space for me. Plus, if I wanted to, and I generally don't, but if I wanted to, I could actually cut out some of these images and use them in my journals, because as you saw in the beginning, it is sort of A5 sized. So for something, well, maybe not like this, but something that doesn't take a lot of real estate on the page, I might be able to crop it down so that it could go on an A5 journaling space. Again, I don't generally cut things out of my coloring books, but it is certainly something I could do. Like this here, I think I could get it just enough if I wanted to use the image. Although I don't sell my journals or create them for other people, so if I wanted to, I could actually just scan a copy of this, size it down, and then use it in a journaling, which is probably more likely of something I'd be doing than cutting something out. That's really cute. The bears are always stealing the honey, and the bees ain't having it. As you can see, it's a really adorable coloring book. And there are some that are way more detailed than others, and I like that combination. So I want to color something a lot or a little. I have options in here. Oh, that's adorable. Oh, I guess we're into autumn now. I didn't even pay attention. That's really cute too. They're all upside down. It's adorable. And now we're going into winter. Again, really cute. And I don't know who the artist is, and I don't know if this artist has other books, but when I was on that website, I saw it, and I thought, again, it's too cute, and it looks like a simple color, which it definitely would be. Oh, that's really cute too. And I do like the neutral tones that the artist used on their images. So it does make it look very cohesive, like it's a storybook, because all of the colors are very similar from page to page. And then a mini poster. Oh, that's cute. Well, you'd have to choose the side you wanted. And then that's the end. It doesn't have a separate book jacket, so it's just this little perforated part, but it doesn't detach. But that's this Hello Forest. What is it? Hello Forest Friends. I think this is one of the ones I had seen on Wendy's channel. This is also a Korean coloring book, and you always know Korean from Japanese because Korean language has circles in it. The Japanese language does not. And this one doesn't necessarily have how to color. What it has in the beginning of the book, oh, what is this one called? This is Girls Fall in Love with Masterpiece, Korean coloring book. That's the name on the invoice that I have. This was in 2023, and it is by Jenn, or Pillow. That's what it says right there. And what it shows you is what the artwork the artist used to base their images on. So this is all the original artwork, and I believe it also shows you who the artists are of that artwork. Some of it's very familiar, like this is the guy who tore his ear off. I mean, he couldn't have bitten his own ear off, but the guy with half an ear, It starts with an M. I want to say Matisse, but that doesn't sound Matisse. Anyway, this shows all of the artwork, the original artwork. And then it shows the artist rendition of that artwork. And it shows it in color. And some of it you can tell what it's based off of. Like I think this is based off of the Sunflowers by Degas. No, that's not his name. I know he was in Who, or Doctor Who. I've never actually seen it, but I've seen snippets of it. I think this is Degas, the ballerina. And I could be completely off. But some of them, like I said, you can tell who the, what's the word? Who the artist was inspired by. I think this is Klimt. This one here, like it's very interesting because that's based off of this here. So it's definitely an interpretation of the artist's work, but I thought it was just so pretty. And so it goes through every single picture, and I think that can be helpful, especially if there's a lot going on in the page on what is actually what. Like this, I think is really pretty with her in the foreground, very light, but then a very dark background. This would actually also go for Olga's current prompt of picture frame. Again, very pretty images done in sort of a Korean anime-ish type style, but definitely an homage to the original artwork. And then it actually goes into the actual art. And it is single-sided. I'm not sure what all of this says. I don't know that I would translate it, but I could. And I like that it's there if I wanted to. But I'm pretty sure it gives information from the artist as well as who the original inspiration is from. The paper is quite thick as well as quite smooth, so I probably would go in with alcohol markers to test, especially for the skin, and then test out various other mediums. I think it could take water mediums. I'm not sure how pencils would work and what kind of pencils would be better. Either regular pencils, budget pencils, watercolor pencils. Like, isn't that gorgeous? That is absolutely gorgeous. I'm glad there aren't too many horizontal pictures. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of the horizontal picture. I don't know why, I just don't like turning my book. And it's a really pretty book to me. And I do like portrait work, especially when I know I can use alcohol markers because I can get the effect to the skin that I like. I am still trying to figure out how to use pencils to work on skin. Very pretty. And I don't care if I ruin like where the writing is, because I know two things. One, I spent money on this, and so it's mine, I'll do what I want. And two, I have such a vast collection. I know I'm never going to finish it all. And so I might as well enjoy the pages I want with the mediums that I want, understanding that I'm going to sacrifice the prettiness of a page like this. Who cares? I do have some books that have images on the other side that I'll sacrifice because I'd rather use my stuff with stuff I like versus being precious about it and just not using it because I can't use the mediums that I enjoy. And I do enjoy alcohol markers, mostly because it is not as taxing on my hands as pencils are. Now we're getting into double-sided. And I don't know if these are duplicates or maybe they're just original works from the artist, because that actually isn't featured in any part or other part of this coloring book. But no separate dusk jacket. Very pretty coloring book. And again, this one is called Girls Fall in Love with Masterpieces, a Korean coloring book. Now, I don't know that I've seen this one on anyone's channel, but the artwork is very strange to me, but not strange in a bad way, but it's not a style that I've seen in other Korean or Japanese coloring books. And so I definitely had to have this. This is Dream Girl. Again, I'm not sure who the artist is. Also a Korean coloring book. Now this one, it is double-sided, but it's double-sided in a way that I can get away with using alcohol markers if I wanted. Paper is thinner than the coloring book that I just showed you, but still good paper, but it's also very smooth. So I don't know how alcohol markers would actually work, because I found on some of my books, alcohol markers just do not work as well as I'd like them to. But some of the images are like that, where it gives you the artist rendition. Have not broken the spine. Some of the images have some color on there, but as you can see, it's only on this page and not on this page. But it's not like that throughout the book. It's very odd. Now, like, I can see myself coloring this. I cannot see myself coloring this. I like flowers more than I like shoes. Even though this is a double page spread, I don't know that I would actually color all of that. I would just color her. But as you can see, they're very odd looking. And because we've got wallpapery type of pages, like the page I just showed you, I can definitely use alcohol markers. Now, it is a lot of real estate for skin, and so I'd probably want to test somewhere else how alcohol markers work before I commit, because I've learned on some of my other paper, even though I think it should work, it actually doesn't blend very well. But it's very interesting. I love how they look. They look quite severe, very like 1960s model in like magazine to me, versus the current either really cutesy Korean or Japanese type of portraits, or the very anime related or looking portraits. Again, I'm not a fan of animals. I don't know that I'd color either of these, but I would color this. And something like this, I would just color her and just leave the background and maybe do distress ink. So I know, even though I know I'm never going to finish a coloring book, even within that, I'm going to pick and choose my battles so that I color something I enjoy. Now, I actually would color these too, although I don't know that I color them at the same time, but I'm just going to use what I want in my coloring book, because then I'll enjoy the process more than just keeping it on the shelf, because I don't want to use pencils because it hurts my hand. Now this one, I probably would choose this image right here if I am going to use alcohol markers, and then just sacrifice this page. Again, there are just some pages I am not going to do. Just not interested. Like this is such a pretty composition to me. She's so long and lean. Again, very 1960s, 1970s fashion model to me. Not necessarily pretty, but very striking. Like again, I would color that. And that's normally not something I would color. I find it interesting. And when I originally looked at it, I thought, because I started from the back forward, I don't know why. I thought it was all sort of like this, where you've got your wallpapery page and then your image, but it's not like that, because when you flip from the front to the back, then it actually alternates a little. But it is just, it's quite different from anything else I have in my collection. If anything, it kind of pulls sort of Zan von Zed to me, just by way of the severity of their faces, but not quite. And I like the mixture of the images in here. So even though I'd only probably color at most maybe 60%, I think I would enjoy the 60% that I would color. And to me, that's worth it. I don't feel the need, considering the size of my collection, that I have to color every single page of every single book that I have. It's not realistic. I mean, if this were my job, perhaps, but it's just a hobby. But just looking at the different artwork is just, it's so interesting to me. And then we're going into the section where there's some color on some pages. I'm not sure why. It seems super random, but it's also kind of interesting. Super random. And then we've got some postcard type of things. And then these are actually stickers. But as I mentioned in that Opal book haul that I had, I think the last video, I probably will never color this and use them. And then that's it. Oh, this does have a detachable jacket. I never take these off. So let's see what the cover actually looks like. Oh, well, that's actually really pretty. But if I were looking for this book on my shelf, I'd know immediately to look for a pink spine. So if I take the desk jackets off, then it just confuses me on what book is what. So that's the third of the 4 books, and so one more to go. And I think this is the other one that I had seen on Wendy's channel, either during her recent haul video or her completed pages video. But this is Which Color Do You Like? Also a Korean coloring book. Now this one is also interesting because, one, it's an interesting size. So what is that, 10 by 10? It is very thick paper. It is very reminiscent to me of like the doming bizarre bottle paperwork that I have. I think the images are gorgeous. That's the artist, whatever her name is. It gives you some of those intro pages reminiscent to a Japanese coloring book. It doesn't show you how, but it gives you some sample pages, I guess, to figure out how to color things. And I guess these would be really good as tester pages for different mediums. The paper is kind of rough, very thick. It is a watercolor and color pencil coloring book. So I'm assuming the paper will work with watercolor paint pans, and watercolor paper behaves a very specific way. So it is a good place to test that out. Now, what makes this interesting is, like the doming book, it has 2 images. It has one with the artist rendition. It is not perforated, but it does give you cut lines. And then it gives you a place where you can write a story or something. I'm not sure exactly why artists do this. I mean, because I guess you could just detach this, send this off to a friend, maybe with a letter, colored or not colored, and then you'd still have the original version and a version to color. Maybe that's how people deal with their books. I don't cut my books, so I don't know that I'd ever do that, but they do have 2 versions of every single picture. There is a kind of a title on each one, so that one's I Like Rainy Days. And as you can see, he actually reminds me, or she actually reminds me of, where's Waldo? The Waldo character. So, Love Forest, I Like Letters. And all of the writing pages are artwork in and of itself. So I don't know that I'd actually use alcohol markers on there. I know in my doming books where I have this, I've been using my watercolor pencils and then activating or not, and they have worked really well. So I'm definitely going to try that medium in here. I Like Potted Plants. And it seems various related characters. Oh, there's a hand coming out of the chimney. That's odd. I like cameras, but I did like the artwork. Now it's bigger because, like that first book I showed you, which was like 6.5 by 8 or something like that, I think that could have also been done on a smaller scale, and then it would seem more detailed. But it takes up enough real estate that I would not feel a need to do anything in the border. This is that cover page I like to paint, or the cover of the book. I like dolls. Cute unicorn. I like the colors here. I like as it. I don't know what that means. MySpace makes me think of the website, you know, pre-Facebook. And if you're old enough to know that, you're old. I like knitting. Super cute. Makes me think of Poet and her comfy and cozy prompt that I think ended in January. I like traveling. Also very cute. And it definitely is reminiscent of that first coloring book I showed you, where it's very simple as compared to some of my more complicated books. And so if I was just feeling in the mood to color something, again, not necessarily quick. This may not be a quick page to color, but I just know there wouldn't be a lot of details to deal with. I like having that in my arsenal, because I'd rather have not so many details, but smaller, than having like a big image but only a few things. And I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I like a flower. It's actually really cute too. I like my dream. Looks like the sheep are dizzy, or maybe the sheep are dreaming too. I like latte. Who doesn't? Well, no, I know there's quite a few people who don't drink coffee. I like the moonlight. Also very cute. Oh, I just noticed that's an elephant. I like to imagine. You are always welcome. Little hedgehog right there. I like music. And I think that's the last image. And then it goes to the back of the book. So those are the 4 books in the third of 4 book hauls that I have. And I will film probably on another day the final book haul that I have for January. I definitely need to cool it. I say that all the time, but I need to find space for these books, but I didn't want to color in them until I actually did the video, just in case you hadn't seen these, so you could see a flip through. Anyway, guys, again, if you want the ISBNs on any of these, let me know in the comment section below, although I will put the Etsy shop of the place that I got these from. It is different from the other 3 that I ordered, and I think the price and the shipping for the other shop, I think Chill and Sarah, are slightly lower, but the shipping on that required a signature. For this one, it was shipped, at least to me, by DHL, and I could do an online signature, so no one actually had to sign for it once it got here. But the prices for the book and the shipping, I think, was slightly higher. Also, the other ones came from Japan. This one came from Korea. So I don't know if that makes a difference as well. Anyway, guys, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.